Hello, how are you today? My name is Shannon and this is my YouTube channel, Whiskey and Wool. Today's episode is A Knitter's Life, Season 5, Episode 9, I think. I should look it up before, but I always forget. You'll know though, because it'll be on the title. Anyway, I hope you're doing okay. I am coming to you from where I always come from, my apartment in West New York, New Jersey, right across the Hudson River from New York City. You probably saw a pretty view of the city. I know I was out walking earlier this week and it was a pretty nice day. I love when I can see the harbor, but just look right down the river and see the harbor, the New York City harbor. It's really cool. But anyway, I'm going to catch you up on my knitting. I have a couple surprises for you. We'll probably start here. Anyway, you can find me on Bluesky and Instagram and Ravelry. I am Whiskey and Wool in all of those places. And there are 2 extra O's in the word wool on Instagram and Bluesky. I'm not all that active there. Probably Ravelry is the best place to keep up with my projects. I try to post update photos just for my own self, so they're usually there, but I don't always, not frequently posting on. This is probably the best way to catch up with me is through my YouTube, where I really talk to you about what's happening. I'm an occasional poster, I guess, in other social media. It's just a lot, you know, posting and writing things. I still have a little teeny touch of whatever it was that I caught at the beginning of May, and so it causes me to cough occasionally when I talk too long, so there might be a few. I mean, I always edit anyway, just for brevity's sake. So if there's edits that seem abrupt, you'll know why. It's because I coughed or needed to blow my nose or something. Anyway, it is a Saturday afternoon. Having a little water. We're having a rainstorm, although right now it's pretty bright out, so the light is looking pretty good right here. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. This is not a finished object by me. This is a finished object by someone else. It's actually a thrift store find, and there's no labels in it. It is knit in the round, or at least I should say the body is all in one piece. And it's unclear to me whether there was steeking happening. I imagine there may have been steeking happening at the armholes and in the front. In the inside, there's this. I don't know how well you'll see it. I'll do some filming of some close-ups if I can get some good light later. But the inside has this knit border that has been hand stitched down to cover up what feels to me like a pretty substantial amount of fabric. So I'm imagining that yes, this was steeked. I actually have a feeling it was hand knit, like on needles. I picked it up in a thrift shop. I was actually looking for searching through things and looking at the skirts, and I ended up buying a skirt that was also homemade, and it's so cute. It's so darling. It's a gingham skirt, a red gingham skirt that is something that I've been wanting to add to my wardrobe for some time. So I was happy to find one. I always look for one. I've been looking for one for years, actually. I kind of wanted a traditional tiered gingham skirt, like from the 70s, but the one I ended up buying is a dirndl style, which is fine. It's button front, so super, super cute. And yeah, and I saw this too, and I couldn't resist. I do think I may replace the buttons. I need to wash it. I haven't washed it since I brought it home, but I think I may replace the buttons. I will certainly move them over because up here at least they're too far away. You can see like how the border, it lines up here. The stitcher did a good job there, but up here at the top, it just, there's this big gap between the edge and the other edge. So I want to fix that. I'll just at least move them over. But it's really cute. I felt very lucky. It's wool too, and it's nicely knit. So yeah, that's what that is about. Just a nice vintage find that I just knew I would wear it. I could wear the crap out of a design like that. Just like over jeans or over a skirt or dress. Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, let's talk about my knits. You can admire that sweater in the background. Let's start with, actually, you know what? I'm going to start with the oldest project first. I do have, I am still chugging away on the Gossamer, and I think what I've determined with this sweater, or this shawl, the Gossamer by Stephen West, it's a shawl. I am in the center of a row, but it doesn't matter because it's so big. But this is a gradient pattern that you do a bubble stitch. You start with a bit of a garter up here, and you're blending together. It's designed to be knit using fluffy lace weight. So I'm using some fluffy Surrey silk and some fluffy cashmere, some brushed cashmere that's blended. Some of it's blended with wool, some of it's blended with silk. So I have these floofy yarns. This is so thick. It's going to be probably the warmest shawl I own once it's done. And you go from this garter beginning and go into bubble stitches, and there are 3 sections of bubble stitches, and I'm on the 3rd one. I did make some progress since I last showed you, but not a whole lot. I think I'm on the 3rd of 8. There's 8 rows in each section, so I'm on the 3rd bit of rows. Third colorway. There's 8 colorways in each section. I'm on the 3rd of 8, 3 of 8 colorways, and then there's a final section that ends up being a knitted border. I did do a couple modifications just to keep the shawl on the small side because it looked massive. It looked massive both on Steven's pattern page, but also on other finished projects. I'm not going to go through all the yarns because there are a lot. They'll be down in the description box if you're interested in the order that I've used them here. And if you have a question about a specific color, put it in the comments and I will do my best to answer what color and what yarn it is exactly. Yeah, so I think what I've decided to do with this is to make myself do a couple rows a day, 1 row, 2 rows, at least one row a day, and just to get it done, because now it's a week into June and I'm still working on this. I started this in February, but in all fairness, I haven't exactly been consistent with it. I picked it up and put it down. It's mostly every 8th row or 10th row or 6th row, depending on which section you're in, or it could even be more, I'm not exactly sure. There's a texture that you do to create those bubbles, a tuck stitch, so to speak, to create those bubbles. But on the rows that you don't do that, you're just doing stockinette. You're just, knitting on the front and purling in the back. So it's really pretty mindless. And now it's like a bajillion stitches. I don't even know how many, like 500 or so. And I didn't finish telling you about the mods. In the section that I'm in, I'm not doing as many rows per color section as the pattern recommended. Instead, I decided to just stick with what it was in the medium bubble section, just to reduce a little bit of the volume. And what was the other change I made? I think that was it. Anyway, having a little drip, so let me take care of that. All right, so that is the Gossamer by Stephen West. The next longest on the needles is the MiZZoni by Lindsay Degan, and I've made quite a lot of progress. I think last time I showed you I had finished the front. Now I have finished the back as well, and I'm on a sleeve. I'm working on a sleeve. The sleeve looks massive to me, but when I put it on earlier, of course it's on a needle that's got it scrunched up a bit. When I put it on earlier, the armhole didn't seem all that big. So I don't know, we'll see. I may step up the decreases soon, just because I also don't think I'm going to be knitting it as long as the designer says to knit it. And there are a substantial amount of decreases in this sleeve. Like, I almost think we start with too many stitches at the top, on the sleeve. Oh, this is a bottom up knit in pieces sweater design. So you can see my side seams are open, and I went ahead and did a 3 needle bind off for my shoulder join, because, and that's the inside, which I think it looks so nice and clean. It's just, you know, such a de minimis seam structure, same as if I kitchenered it, really. So I went ahead and did 3 needle bind off on the shoulder seams, and the other mod that I've made is I have cast on the sleeve right in the armhole instead of knitting it separately, because it just didn't make any sense to me. I wanted to be able to try it on. I want to be able to make the sleeve the right length instead of trying to kind of guess with it all in pieces, like, is this going to be long enough for me? I'm making an extra small. Pattern has like 7 or 8, 6 or 7, somewhere in there, sizes, and my gauge was just way off what hers was. Her design is meant to be made out of scraps, so and the pattern calls for worsted, light worsted, something like that, or you can hold together fingering weight to get the right, comparable weight. But my yarn is sport weight, and I didn't get gauge. Her gauge is real small. It's about 7 or 8 stitches to the inch, which is, I'm working on a size 5 needle, so that's really small. Like, if I pick up a size 5 needle, whether I'm knitting with DK or fingering weight, I'm probably going to get somewhere in that 20 to 22, maybe 24 stitches to the inch. So like 6 stitches to the inch. I can't remember. I think my gauge ended up being 22 with this yarn and these needles. I liked the fabric that I got, and I didn't want it to be any denser, so I just decided to size down to get to the size that's right for me. And it seems like it's gonna work. I really love the colors. So mine is not scrappy. Mine is being knit from handspun, so I have 1 skein left. I used basically almost an entire skein on the front, and I had 3 skeins, almost an entire skein on the back. I just love how it looks like a sunset. It's all the colors of a sunset, like the deep blue, the turquoisey blues, the deep blues and purples, the rosy pinks and golds and rusts. It's just so pretty. So yes, this was a handspun that I made last year from fiber that I got from Inglenook, and I think it is, hold on, I have the tag, organic Polworth. Yeah, organic Polworth. So that's the tag. The colorway is called Nice, not nice, Nice, as in the city, Nice. And yeah, I did a 3-ply fractal, which when you do a fractal spin, you usually get what is similar to what, if you're not a spinner, what Spin Cycles yarn looks like, where you get some gradient, some color gradient. I was surprised at how much of a gradient I got. Like, it really, there's just no repeat, really. It repeated skein to skein, but in a single skein, I didn't really get any color repeat. I mean, the turquoise came back, but I didn't get that peachy, pale lavender that happened there. I didn't get that again. Yeah. I got some orange, but not the same. And the turquoise I got up here is much brighter and lighter than the turquoise that I have down here. Super interesting. Yeah, really, really, it's been fun knitting this, and I think I'm really going to love wearing it, which is important. I went ahead and did the neckband, mostly because I had a skein that was, I do have little bits of the other two skeins left, so this is what I've left. So I knit the neckband from this because it was the color that I wanted to have for the neckband, and I was like, oh, that's what I want on the neckband. Let me go ahead and knit that while I can. So I just went ahead and did that. Yeah, now we'll just see what happens with the sleeves. I think I'm going to use about half of what I have here on the sleeve, and then the other half will be used for the other sleeve. But if worst comes to worst, the sleeves won't be full length. They'll just be like bracelet length or 3/4 sleeve, whatever I can come out with. But this is already pretty long. It's almost, with the drop and stuff that's there, it's almost to my elbow. There's my elbow, so it's getting there. And then I also think I'll have some growth when I block it. Is there anything else I need to tell you about this before I put it away? It's really been a fun knit, and I have really been going back and forth between this and my other knits, the other things I have on the needle. Just, they're all vying for my attention. But yeah, really happy with this sweater. I can't believe it's halfway through the year already. You know, I know a lot of knitters who do make 9, or they'll figure out their knitting plan for the year and plan their projects and look ahead and see, you know. And years ago, like probably going back not that many years, before I moved, maybe the year before that even, I would knit about a sweater a month, one a month. And I've really slowed down since I moved. I don't know why. Because I moved in from a house that I was sharing with my sister and her family to an apartment that I own by myself. And I love it. So it's not like I have home maintenance or anything. I mean, I had the same responsibilities of cleaning and cooking and whatever there that I have here. Because even though I lived with her, we didn't share those responsibilities. Like, I took care of my own space, and my own space there was bigger than the place I have here. So I don't know, I can't figure it out, but I just haven't been knitting as much. Might just be distractions with other things, who knows. Okay, the next most longest on the needles is a surprise, because I did what I threatened to do last time I was here doing Knitter's Life. If you remember, I finished a Rye Layering Tee, and I had said to you, I have another one in mind that I really want to knit. And in full disclosure, this yarn has been sitting in my stash with the intention of knitting a Rye Layering Tee since probably early 2022. So a long time. And I decided that I was just going to keep the momentum of knitting a Rye Layering Tee going and cast it on. So I cast on another Rye Layering Tee. This one is a crew neck version. So I've got the front and back done. It's the Rye Layering Tee is a pattern that I designed. It's the last one I published. I think I published it in 2020. I've made several of these. This is my 7th one. It's just a real simple set-in sleeve, crew neck or a button front, Henley, long sleeve or short sleeve or sleeveless. Pick your own rib pattern. easy to wear, and easy to, like, everyday sort of garment, at least for me. So it's based on a J. Crew set-in sleeve rib knit sweater that I bought years ago, like 15 or 20 years ago, and I had a few. I only maintained the black one, like kept the black one. The other ones I donated at some point because they were worn out, and the black one still looks okay. It looks pretty good. I've shaved it a couple times, and it's made out of merino, and it's machine knit. So I based this pattern on that object, that sweater. And yeah, I've loved all of the versions that I've made. Several of them got eaten by wool-eating moths. I had a moth infestation where I used to live, like in 2021. It was bad. It was real bad. So I ended up pitching. They weren't salvageable. Pitching a few of those sweaters along with many others. But my original, like, if you, sorry, I have a hair in my, or fuzz in my eye. The button Henley in the pattern picture was right next to ground zero where the nest was, so it was really moth-eaten. I did save it for a while thinking I would salvage it, but I couldn't. Anyway, that's a different story. That experience prompted me to record a video and write down all the things to do if it happens to you, to your stash or your clothes. They take a long time to beat. They take a couple years to beat because eggs can stay and hatch up to 2 years after they're laid. So it can really, like, you have to be vigilant for years after you find them. And to be honest, like, I think moving saved me from experiencing it again, because where I lived was very wooded and there are a lot of deer, and they're, wool-eating moths are part of the ecosystem. They help break things down that are grown by animals, so animal fur and muscle and animal product and skin, they help break all of that down. All right, anyway, I just said to myself, I'm gonna just cast this on right away while it's still fresh on my mind, and I'm just gonna go for it. So this one is real simple. It is a 1x1 rib. I ended up, so full disclosure, I did not swatch because it is a pattern that I've made so many times and I know my gauge pretty much. However, exactly know how the yarn is going to behave, and this yarn is yarn I've never knit with, but I've heard good things about it, and sadly you can't get it anymore because the company is out of business. But it's by Olann Yarn Company. She was a indie dyer in Ireland, and then she opened a mill, and then she had an epiphany that she wasn't doing what she wanted to do with her life and closed everything. So this is her. So she was very popular. She was one of my favorite indie dyers. And when she bought the mill, I was all in and really wanted to try her yarn. So this is from her mill. It's called Meara, 100% fine merino. So here's the thing with this yarn. It's fingering weight, yes, but it seems to be very thin. And I think there's oils in it. I think I feel oil in it. So I have a feeling when I block it, it's going to bloom. But because I didn't swatch, because I was like, just going to cast on, and I have no idea. So I ended up, like, as I was knitting the first bit, the first top, I think it's my own pattern, I should know. You start in the back, yes. You do one shoulder, then you do the other shoulder, then you join them across the back, so you get this little bit of a drop in the back. And as I was knitting the shoulders and joining the backs, I decided to go down a needle size. So you're meant to knit this on a size 5 needle, US size 5 needle. So I went down to a size 4, a 3.5 millimeter needle, just to get a little bit firmer fabric. And however, I'm continuing to make the same size. I'm making a size 3. And I know it looks real small, but first of all, it is set in sleeves, and second of all, it is rib that will open up in the blocking. But I think this is going to be really, really, really wearable. This yarn is pretty interesting. So it's a heather, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see how heathered it is. Maybe if I show you the fabric. Yeah, I think you can see it there. If only it would just focus on the sweater and nothing else. There you go. So you can see like bits of pink and yellow and blue in there. When I bought this and photographed it and put it away, I'll cast that on later. That'll be something I'll make in the fall or whatever I was thinking at the time. The photograph of this looks rosy pink. Like it looks like a really deep dark mauve. The photograph of the yarn. It must have just been the lighting that I had or something. So in my head, this was a rosy pink, not brown, because it looks brown. It looks like a pretty dark brown too. So I was a little surprised when I took it out again to cake it up and get it going, But I decided, you know what? I bought it because I loved it. Like I actually had a mini skein of it first, and I ended up buying a sweater's quantity because I loved the mini skein so much. So we'll see. So I'm interested to see. Like, I have to be honest. And I'm a former fashion designer, and I worked in the garment industry, and I worked with knits. I was a knitwear designer, and yeah, all of the things. I studied textiles in college. I did all of that. But I actually thought to myself, can yarn oxidize? Can dye oxidize? Because I was like, it's so dark compared to what I remembered it being. I don't think so. I think it's a faulty memory. I don't think in all of my education of textiles and all the things I know about textiles and dyeing and stuff, I do know some dyes do oxidize. So some indigo, for example, is a great example. This is not naturally dyed. So yeah, I think it's just my memory is faulty. So anyway, we'll see. I'm curious to see how this yarn performs when it's blocked. Maybe I should just make a little swatch and block it so then I'll know. That's probably what I should do. And maybe I'll do that. Anyway, this is humming along. Just humming along. The Rye Layering Tee, you can make it whatever length you want, of course, like you can with any sweater, but the intention is that it's long. Because you don't really do a rib bottom. You just cast off when you're done, especially if you're just doing one by one like I am. But even the last one that I did, the turquoise one that I showed you last episode, that was like a broken rib stitch pattern where it was 2x2. So I was like changing where the 2x2 was starting every so often. And I just ended it. I did an Italian sewn bind off, and that was it. So there was no rib bottom. You can do rib bottom if you want, though. You could do like, if you were doing a textured rib and you wanted to do one by one, you could do that. But the idea is that you can tuck it in, and there's not that extra bulk of like a blousey, like what happens here when you do a rib with a stockinette body. So if you do, you can do stockinette body too. Of course, you can do any stitch you want, but if you do a stockinette body, I would do at least a little one by one rib trim. So one more project to show you. I feel like I'm cranking through this, which is good. I like to be short. Oh, I have, so if you watched my last cast on with me, or if you missed it, I will now give you the update on my Hey Sailor by Andrea Mowry. So I cast on 2 weeks ago the Hey Sailor by Andrea Mowry, again using handspun yarn. So this is where it's at so far. So this is another bottom-up sweater. It's a cardigan that you can wear the buttons in the front or the back. And you are doing a micro stripe where you're doing a one row of one color, one row of the other. And it's also a mosaic knit where you're slipping. So in order to get those boxes that you're seeing in the handspun yarn, you slip those when you're knitting with the white yarn. In my case, when I'm knitting with the white yarn, I'm slipping those. So this is let me fold it in half. This is the full piece. I hate how it curls. It drives me crazy. I keep hoping that it will stop, but I don't think it will until I bind off. But that's the whole thing. Obviously come back and do some rib knit plackets for your button, and it's got kind of a boat neck style, big fat rib neckband that goes across. My handspun is from Bramble Ridge in a colorway called Fish Pond, and I bought this during in Tour de Fleece is coming up. That's coming up towards the end of June. During Tour de Fleece, a lot of fleece dyers, fleece indie makers run sales, or they'll run like big updates. So they'll do promotions or they'll do big updates. So, or they'll offer free shipping or things like that. So it's a time when it's a good time to stock up on fiber. So I purchased a sweater's quantity of this Fish Pond, which is like a turquoise, and I think that's actually a good, even though it's blurry, you can at least see the colors, the turquoise and lime green. And then there were bits of red that faded to orange because there were also big sections that were undyed. So those kind of bled out, not huge sections, but small sections of white undyed fleece. So those dilute the dye in those sections. The white I'm using is by Sandusgarn, and it is the yarn Sunday, which is hold on, is it merino? I need my glasses. I'm getting to the age where it's hard for me to read. No, it is merino, 100% merino, produced in Norway. And I think technically it's a light fingering, but I am holding 2 strands together. I talked about that, coming to that conclusion in my cast on with me. So yeah, it's the color, I think it's just a number. I think it's like 1001. Yeah, colorway 1001. So white. There's a couple of shades of white, and I think this is the whitest and brightest. But so far so good. This is pretty enjoyable. The rows are super long. Feel like they take a long time. I have about 6 inches of the body done. I need 12 before I do the armholes, but this is a short sleeve cardigan, so once I get to the point of joining the shoulders and doing the sleeves are only about that long, so it should be pretty fast. So this might be done soon. It's going to be a nice transition piece. I was surprised how big the orange sections were in the knit. I really expected the orange to be smaller, sections, it seems like when this reads green to me, it doesn't read orange. Yes, I can see a little bit of orange in there, but it mostly looks green to me. So I was surprised, but it's okay. I have 3 skeins of this, and I don't know that I'll use much more than 2, but I have enough. Oh, actually, the pattern called for 800 yards, and that's pretty much bang on what I ended up spinning. So again, I did a 3-ply fractal spin. It tends to be my go-to. I love doing 3-plies. Okay, speaking of spinning, since I last did a Knitter's Life, I was still finishing up 1 skein of that fish pond, so that obviously got done. And then I have since made a skein that I have not yet wound off my bobbin. It's just white yarn. This is from Melly Knits, so if you're a spinner, you probably already know about her. If you're not a spinner, she is a Canadian maker who does do yarn too sometimes, but she mostly preps fiber. Like this is the name of it. Oh my goodness, come on. There you go. Melly Knits. And she does this like 3-eyed monster sort of motif. She has a 3-eyed sheep that she uses as a icon during the Tour de Fleece. So yeah, this is a 100-gram Columbia yak blend. So Columbia is a breed of sheep. And it does have she calls it halo, and it has a beautiful halo to it, which I don't know if you're gonna see all that well. You'll have to just take my word for it. But I need to wind this off and soak it, and I think then it will probably really bloom in an amazing way. And the price you're seeing on there is Canadian, so I think I paid 40-ish, 40 and change. But yeah, that's what that is. Melly makes yarn, does have yarn made for her, I should say, but I don't know her whole story, but it seems like at some point she realized like what she really enjoys is processing fleeces. So her fleeces are all hand processed, where she's hand picking them, she's hand scouring, like it's all a family run operation, like she and her family, and she does have some help that comes from time to time to help her out. Oh my god, I'm having all the allergic reactions right now. Itchy nose, watery eyes, all that. Yeah, and speaking of Tour de Fleece, I purchased Inglenook Fibers, one of Inglenook Fibers colorways for this year's Tour de Fleece, and I bought 11 ounces of this. So this is the color. It's like a gray and black, and then these bright jewel tones. They're not showing up as jewelry right now on screen, but maybe in my editing I can make that happen. And it's based on this picture here. Last year I want to say they did 5 colorways, but this year they only did 2. So they had this one, a picture of this bridge at night, and then a picture of it during the day. And the one that was during the day was very autumnal, which really isn't my thing. Like I have to say, like, autumn is probably my least favorite season, not because of the colors, but I just hate that transition from summer. I just love summer. I love the warm weather. Going from summer into winter is always a sad time for me, just like, we start back up at school and all of that, and I'm not really a fan. And I don't really love autumnal colors generally for myself. Like, they're pretty to look at, but I don't really want to wear those. So that just wasn't for me. So I just decided to go with this one. I'm not sure how I'm going to spin this. It's a Polworth Tussa Silk blend, so I know I'll be able to spin this quite thin. So I could probably do a 3-ply that would come out to be a fingering weight if I wanted. I don't know if that's what I want. I might make myself make a sport weight anyway, but I'm trying to figure it out. I don't think I'm gonna do Fractal. I'm actually hoping, so I have 2 braids, they're both quite big, they're almost 6 ounces. I'm hoping what I can do is do each skein as a 3-ply, but 2 of those plies are just the bright colors. So like this section here would be 1 ply, then this black, gray, brown would be 1 ply, and then this inside section here would be another ply. So that's what I think I'd like to do, but I'll see, because 6 ounces is also a really massive skein. It's probably really pushing my spinning wheel to its max, like it's, because this is my biggest bobbin and this is 100 grams right here, so 100 grams is only 3.5 ounces, so I can maybe push this to 4.5 ounces, but not 6 ounces. So probably gonna do two skeins from each braid. But anyway, I have some thought to give it. I'm probably gonna begin this spin during Tour de Fleece, so this will probably be my main spin during Tour de Fleece. And then I have some carded fleece that needs to be combed and made into rollags or a bat, probably rollags because I don't have a drum carder. So I might spend the rest of Tour de Fleece just doing that fiber prep, because I think it's a good time to do that, because it's really motivating. So I have 2 ounces of carded, or scoured, it is carded, yeah, carded but not combed, carded cashmere that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and then I think I have 5 or 6 ounces of some very fine merino from Reniger. That is also just scoured and carded, that needs to get combed and made into some sort of, like, it needs one more step before I can spin it. So I might do that for the rest of Tour de Fleece. We'll see how I'm feeling. I also have, like, I did a little digging through all of my spinning fiber, and I have a few more combo spins to do where I'm going to be just spinning together braids, 3 braids from different, that weren't intended necessarily to go together, but to me they go together and they're going to make really pretty spins. So I do have those as well. So I could, if I just want to stick with spinning, I could do that, and then maybe save the combing for after Tour de Fleece. We'll see how it goes. It would certainly be a challenge for me to do the combing, because I've never done it. I've never made my own rollags. I understand how to do it. I've watched people do it. I think I can do it. I have the combs, so it should be okay. We'll see. And that's it. Thanks for being here with me. I will be back again in a couple weeks. I may have a new cast on. I actually have a cast on in mind that I haven't talked about. It's a brand new published pattern that just got me. So I hope to be casting that on very soon. I do want to get the MiZZoni or the one of the other projects off the needles though before I cast on something new. So maybe in 2 weeks I'll be ready. That would be great. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, thanks so much, and I will see you again real soon. Bye.